What up, y'all? Texas Roots and Fruits. Got your weekly video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to be going over the Dwarf Cavendish. As you can see, it's a little cloudy and rainy today, but still wanted to put out a video and kind of give you guys the care of the Dwarf Cavendish and what I've done so far. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos, I'm in Zone 9A, Central Texas, and so let's get into it. So, like I said, this is the Dwarf Cavendish. Reaches, its max height is like 8 to 10 feet. It might not get that tall in a pot. We'll see. This is my first one I've had. I actually bought this from a local nursery. I didn't even know that these can grow here when I first started getting into wanting to do my own garden and fruit trees and all that. So I said, what the heck, I can give it a shot. And it's, as you can see, done really well. When I first bought this thing, it was as big as this little pup. So, and this is 1 year of growth. So, you know, it grows like a weed. If you live in Zone 9A or somewhere, you know, a little harsher in weather, not like Florida and stuff, this is something that I'd recommend if you want an easy tropical fruit that's really low maintenance, grows fast, and you don't have to worry about it too much. We actually just had a cold front here in Texas, and we had 2 days in a row. We're gonna get more bad weather next week, so I'll give you guys an update. But we had 2 days in a row where it was 35, felt like 32. I did absolutely no covering on the Dwarf Cavendish. I wanted to kind of see how it did, just kind of give it a test, because I have some extra ones that if it died, you know, I'll just start over. But I just kind of wanted to test the tolerance and the cold hardiness of it and see how it did, and it did good. I mean, like I said, I did absolutely zero covering, zero extra care to it. Oh, sorry, motorcycle passing. But anyways, so yeah, I'd highly recommend getting some kind of banana. This is a kind of regular variety of banana plant. There's some, you know, better tasting ones, but still, the Dwarf Cavendish is gonna still taste better than your, you know, local grocery store banana. So it's not even gonna be close. As far as fruiting, I expect it to fruit next year. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, because this thing has grown huge, and I think next year will be the year. But let's start with the soil. So for soil, guys, nothing special. It's kind of what I do for most of my fruit trees and plants. I just did a third compost, third topsoil, and a third sphagnum peat moss. So kind of mixed that all up together and threw it in here. Nothing, and obviously I mulched on top too. So don't forget to mulch. It just helps retain moisture, and once all that stuff breaks down, it gives good nutrients too. And you guys can see when old leaves die, I just put them in here and let them break down. And so you guys definitely, I would recommend doing that too, because, you know, your tree will get good nutrients out of itself. So anyways, as far as watering this thing is pretty much impossible. Overwatering is pretty much impossible on this thing. It grows like a weed, and basically the more you feed it, the more it's going to grow. It's not growing right now because of obviously the weather, but during the summer peak growing season, this thing was shooting out a new leaf every week, one new leaf. So it grows crazy. You guys will be amazed how fast these things grow. So the next one's actually going to come out of here. As you can see, nothing's going to be happening right now for a while because of the weather, but during the summer, expect this thing to grow a ton. And let's see what else. Okay, so fruiting, just if you guys don't know, banana trees will only fruit once. So this itself will flower. It'll put out a flower and then put out the rack of bananas. Once that's done, once you cut off the rack of bananas, that's it for this tree. And so what you can do, you can chop it back, obviously, cut it back here, cut it in small pieces, and use that for compost. Let it break down and throw it, you know, if you guys have like a compost bin or anything like that, obviously there's gonna be a ton of nutrients in there. I've heard people cook the cores of them too. I'm not really sure. I haven't done it myself or looked too much into that, but people do that as well. And then so once it fruits, it's going to die, and then you get these things called pups, which is right here. So I have 3 of them, 2, and then a really small one over here. And I actually have a 4th I'll show you really fast. that I actually cut off and took off, and it's doing good itself here. So that's the kind of cool thing about bananas, I think, is, you know, they kind of just are self-sustaining. So that's another cool thing. And so, you know, you'll cut this back if you want, and then keep one in the pot. So, you know, we'll keep this one, and then eventually when these get a little bit bigger, you can just cut them off the main tree and pot them, put them in a pot or plant them, whatever, and they'll be good to go. They'll start growing. Just the one thing I'd recommend on that when you're taking off the pups is just make sure you let them grow out a little bit. The one I just showed you guys in here in the pot, this was my first time doing it, but I almost cut it off too early. It had one long root and that was it. And I actually cut off another one that had no roots, and it ended up dying on me. So let them grow out a little bit more. These are still, I bet you these would be fine, but I'm just gonna let them hang on there and get a bigger, and then kind of cut them off, because I plan on sticking some in the ground just to kind of experiment and see how they do, and just leave them out here. I mean, I think they'll do fine, because like I said, I didn't cover this potted one. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep one potted always at least, and put some in the ground. And you know, in case the weather gets really bad, I'll at least always have one on reserve that I can bring inside, you know, in case the weather gets really bad. Let's see what else we got. I think that's about it, guys. There's nothing super hard or special about the Dwarf Cavendish, but like I said, if you guys want something easy and want to have something tropical in zone 9A in Texas, this is what I would recommend getting. And you know, it grows fast. So if you guys are a little bit impatient, like waiting for some fruit trees and stuff that take years and years to start producing, you'll get fruit on these probably 2 years, maybe, you know, two to probably not 3, probably 2 years. So it really just depends. And obviously if I put this in the ground, this thing probably would have grown even bigger in last summer. So just keep that in mind. Obviously ground, you're gonna have more space, but this pot is just a half whiskey barrel, and it's big, and I think that's plenty of room for it. I guess we'll kind of see this year once I start getting the fruit and how big the rack is. And I don't expect like a huge rack, but you know, something's better than nothing. So anyways, guys, hope you guys have a good weekend. If you guys have any questions about the Dwarf Cavendish or anything else, let me know in the comments. Again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Well, one more quick thing, guys. I put out a short, but I would highly recommend getting a weather station. This is the ambient weather station, and that helps me keep track of, you know, obviously the weather, and it's just more specific to me instead of looking on your phone, which is kind of, you know, the general area. It's helped me out with obviously rainfall, keeping, you know, if I get a specific amount of rain a week, I don't need to water anything. So I definitely recommend getting some kind of weather station. That one, the ambient weather one, was $2.99 on Amazon, and I got it 20% off during Black Friday. So just something to think about. But anyways, guys, have a good weekend. Texas Roots and Fruits out.